Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of WTF. What? The Footy. Couple of Yanks shooting blanks about Australian rules football. This is episode 21 for July 27th, 2026. On the right, semi-retired sports writer for the Pittsburgh Tribune-Review, Joe Rutter.
And Carlton supporter.
And we have plenty to talk about the Blues this week, whether you like it or not. I think they still remain the best story in footy.
They're up there.
Although there are a couple teams challenging for that title right now. We're going to talk about that. I'm Robert Gregory, former desk guy from the Pittsburgh Tribune-Review. First things first, though, Joe. We have some thank yous to make, don't we?
Yes, we do. We have to acknowledge last week we were honored to be on Donnie's Disposals podcast, another Yank who hails from Des Moines, Iowa.
Not shooting blanks, though.
No, not shooting blanks. Very informed footy person.
Oh, my goodness.
Humbled me with his knowledge.
Oh, he is savant-like.
Yes,
we like to say that we're not an X's and O's show. Okay, we're more like on the periphery. We have fun. We do some laugh and stuff like that. You want X's and O's? I'm telling you.
This guy knows it.
Get to Donnie's Disposal. You can find him on YouTube. We were on his show last week. Had an absolute blast. Learned a ton. Including, in some cases, what and what not to call some of your teams. Just saying.
Yep.
But yeah, we had a great time, and we can't thank Coach Donnie Hess enough for allowing us to appear on his program last week.
Yeah, that was a good time, and we hope to have him on our show at some point once we decide to bring some guests in.
Yeah, I have some thoughts, and Joe, we can talk about that later. But yeah. I kind of have some thoughts about when he should appear if he agrees.
Yes.
But yeah, Donnie, Coach Hess, thank you very much for having us on your wonderful show. Like I said, X and O's guy, that's him. That is him through and through. He picks a team of the week every week, and it's a full lineup and like 6 bench guys.
Yeah, I know. When I heard he was doing team of the week, I thought, oh, okay, well, we talk about certain teams. We have a team song. Yeah. No, he does an actual team of players from all over, all 18 teams.
It's basically the all-star team from that week.
Yeah.
And despite my grumblings that Max Gawn was not included, he had very good rationale for why Max Gawn was not included, because there were better rucks that week. It's that week's all-star team. Like I said, if you like the X's and O's of the sport, this guy has it. He is so knowledgeable on footy. It's incredible. So check him out on YouTube. It's Donnie's Disposal. All right, showtime. Time for our victory song of the week. We did not get a victory from our woebegone West Coast Eagles. So we've got to repeat again.
Yeah, we had to go to the backup plan again.
But if we had to do another repeat this week, you heard me earlier talk about Carlton's place about best story in footy, maybe being challenged.
Yeah.
This team, especially what they did last weekend, they are really challenging for the talker of the season.
Yeah, Collingwood has just been playing incredibly well, and to no surprise, we decided to pick them. They're on a roll now. I think it's 6 in a row, firmly into the thick of the wild card race. Pretty much with one more win, I think gets in there.
I think so too.
They are our victory song of the week. So let's give them a listen.
Yeah, let's do it.
Good old Collingwood forever. They know how to play the game.
In the last 6 weeks.
Side by side they stick together to uphold the Magpies' name. See the barrackers are shouting as all barrackers should.
Might need a definition on that one.
The premiership's a cakewalk for the good old Collingwood.
of marchy, jazzy.
Yeah, it is. And you're there. They mentioned the Barrackers. From what I understand, that is well, that is the
Say, please
that
inform
is
me.
the like a supporters.
Oh, okay.
That's the team you
Just
root for.
just slang.
Yeah, it's
Collingwood
their,
slang for supporter.
Yeah, it's their term for supporters. Like like they use fixture instead of schedule and tips instead of bets, as we found out from Coach Donnie.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. So that is what that was.
And I'm smiling a little more this week on my tips.
Yes, as you should. Very good week by you. 7-2, I believe.
Yeah, 7-2.
You were.
Yeah, I was crap the last 2 weeks. 7-2, and I missed the first 2 this week.
Oh, you
ran off 7 in a row after that.
Well, I lost. I think I went 1-3, but I decided to not double down. But I was so upset that I hadn't won anything. I actually put a couple bucks on North Melbourne to cover against Sydney, or not Sydney, St. Kilda. I figured North, they were playing for their playoff lives.
Yeah,
could maybe hang in there, and I lost another one. So it's what I get for putting a little money on North to.
Oh my goodness. There's our updated list of the victory song of the week. Of course, you see the 12 beside Collingwood. That's the last time we played that song. And you know what? It seems to me that we do, shouldn't say what we do, what we do a lot of on this show. And it's probably because we're shooting blanks. I get that. You probably get that. You probably understand. A lot of mea culpa on this show. And we probably have a few more before our show's over this week. But one mea culpa we got to have is on the Magpies, because both of us did not think they would be in this position even 6 weeks ago when this winning streak started. And not only are they in a position to make the finals, they're challenging for a top 6 spot.
Yeah, they're creating a lot of noise. And, it's funny, as we'll see right here on our next slide. Hold on here. Our next slide, as you said, perhaps Nick was right. 60 days until the grand final. Nick Dacos saying they have what it takes to go the whole way.
I was just going to say, if you recall, and I'm not so sure that people were laughing at him because, he does carry a little bit of weight. Again, if he stays healthy, not only should he be Brownlow this year, he's probably going to be runaway winner of the Brownlow. So it's not like you're taking his thoughts with a grain of salt. But Collingwood, even as recent as like 2-3 weeks ago, is not thought of a team that could challenge the top 6 and maybe make a run to the flag. But this past weekend, what they did to Adelaide on the road, wow, eye-opener.
It was an eye-opener. And speaking of mea culpas, on the Coach Donnie Hess show, we were asked a question of what teams we thought, besides our own, would be ones to watch down the stretch. I, of course, picked Adelaide. And what do the Crows do? They go out, cough it up in the first week against Collingwood. Hey, nothing to be ashamed of. Collingwood's a good side, but Adelaide just a little too up and down for my liking. When I try to get a peg on them, something changes my mind, and I'm not sure they have what it takes to go the whole way. After a few weeks of teasing you, thinking they had figured it out.
Yeah. This game was at the Oval, right?
Yeah, I believe it was.
Yeah, this game was at the Oval. Adelaide's fighting for like a top 4 spot. You want a top 4 spot. That's your double elimination.
Yeah.
They had everything to play for.
Oh, definitely.
Collingwood, just especially in the second half, and we're going to, just to give it away a little bit, we'll be seeing some graphics here pretty soon talking about Collingwood and why maybe they were able to put it away in the second half of that game. But again, the Crows, who looked to be starting to, forgive the pun, flying a little higher, really brought back down to earth by another bird this past week. Yeah,
and the Magpies, they're Carlton's biggest enemy. Beat Carlton last week to kind of hurt their playoff chances. They're rolling along and a good, fundamentally sound team.
That too.
Craig McRae doing a great job with the club. We gave him some props last week, and he's pushing all the right buttons now.
Yeah, 60 days now until the grand final, which is less than 9 weeks. I was forced to give this graphic a little color. I was a little embarrassed about how generic it has looked since we started this countdown, at 98 or something
Yeah.
like that? Or no, 95. So that was 5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Because the next graphic has a bunch of color. So I was forced to add some color to this one. And so, of course, we have all the teams at the top in alphabetical order, mind you. This is not the order of the ladder. It's alphabetical order. And you'll probably see some changes once the 10 teams that have qualified for the final are finally established. Anyway, grand final in 60 days, September 26th at the MCG.
In a few weeks before that.
Also, and I thought we should mention this because this was one of the, what do I want to say, the initial fast reaction concerns about the NFL coming to Melbourne. And you see that. The NFL's a Melbourne game between the Los Angeles Rams and the San Francisco 49ers. 46 days until the NFL invasion. And the worry was this game is in the middle of finals at the MCG.
Yep.
What happens if we have a bunch of Victorian teams playing that weekend? And as you can see below, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 would have qualified had the season ended today. 2 more, including your baggers, 2 more are still kind of out there. It seems to me it's more, well, I shouldn't say more than likely, because this is what? This is the week before the preliminary final, right?
Yes, I believe it is.
Right? If the grand final is 2 weeks after that.
Yeah.
So these are elimination finals. So there is probably a good bet.
Yeah.
Some of these Vic teams are going to be there, which means a long night for the grounds crew at MCG.
Yeah, you're going to have 6 of the 10 for sure because you're 11 and 12 right now. You know, you're going to have at least these 6. You might have Carlton swapping with St. Kilda, but you're going to have 6 for sure out of the 10. So there's a good chance that one of those teams will be having a home game. I mean, there's a fairly decent chance that one of those teams will get a home game that weekend. So,
and by home game, we say MCG because there's no way they're going to throw this to Marvel and lose ticket sales. I mean, there's no way that they won't be able to fill the MCG, right? And even if they won't be able to fill it, 80,000 is still a lot better than 48,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Over at Marvel, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this might be a situation to watch as we get closer to finals, as we get closer to the league opener for both the Rams and Niners. We'll have to just take a look. 46 days. Should say only 46 days. You figure when we started our countdown for the grand final, that was 35 days ago already, if you can believe that. So these things are coming fast and furious. So the Blues got to win this past weekend to keep themselves in it. Here is the look of the last playoff spot, because I don't know, Joe. I feel like 1 through 9 is already taken by somebody somewhere.
Yeah, I think 1 through 9 is pretty well set. I think
if Geelong keeps faltering, maybe they drop down. But for the sake of our argument here, we're going to look at these 5 teams, because these are the 5 teams that have talk about that 10th spot. So now here we are, 4 games to go. You see the number of points on the left. You see their remaining schedule on the right, much like we've been doing since the midpoint of the season. The greens are the top 6. The yellows are the current wild card teams. The reds are the teams that are out of it as of right now. This is the race for 10th. So I tried to do a little projection, what made the most sense over the next 4 weeks. And Joe, let's see that.
Yeah, let's look at that, because as you've pointed out to me, as we talked about, doesn't look good for Carlton. But stranger things have happened. And
All right, so
there's your projections.
Here, the boxes that are still lit, those are wins for those teams. The shaded boxes in gray are projected losses. And I think this does make a lot of sense as far as these 5 teams go.
Yeah.
And what you have at the end of the season is a 3-way tie for 10th with 44 points. But then you look at that line at the bottom, and St. Kilda has an overwhelming percentage lead, and I don't think there's enough weeks left, given the opponents left on these respective schedules, to really make up that kind of percentage in a month.
It's hard. And, as far as like we talked about, as far as Carlton goes, they're going to have to go 3-1 with one of those wins being over St. Kilda. They can't lose to Brisbane and Frio. They're going to have to beat one of those 2 teams.
Yeah.
Again, their best hope might be Frio resting players that last week of the year. But do you really want to leave it to chance? I mean, I would think that you want to put as much focus on this Brisbane game this week, because you really you can't keep hoping St. Kilda's going to lose. Yeah, you can't keep hoping for the other teams to lose and for GWS to just continually be the enigma that it's been lately.
Yeah, tall task though for the Blues.
Very
Brisbane squad that turned the corner a good month and a half ago. And really, I mean, there's been a hiccup or 2 here and there, but really they're running. And I think maybe the only saving grace of this game that it is not at
the Gabba.
Yeah. Yeah, Carlton gets a home game. That place should be rocking.
It should be. And it should be a very, Brisbane's coming in red hot, but Brisbane has shown a tendency to, have some stinkers throughout the year. Haven't had one in a while, but they've had the occasional one. Maybe, I think Carlton has a chance to keep it close. We'll see what happens. I mean, they can keep it close going into the 4th. Maybe they can pull something out. I don't know.
And maybe Gold Coast wakes up. Maybe St. Kilda loses to Sydney, Carlton, and Gold Coast. Gold Coast is now on what, 9-game losing streak?
Yeah.
I mean, is it possible they end the season on a 13-game losing streak?
The way they're playing, and if you saw what happened in that game, which we'll talk about later in our stock watch, this looks like a team that's ready to implode with the infighting going on there.
Maybe that's a pride game for the Suns.
Yeah.
Because as you can see in this projection, I don't expect them to win another game. But I feel like they could somewhere. Yeah. I feel like they could against Greater Western. And I feel like they could against St. Kilda. And if they could against St. Kilda, if St. Kilda really goes 1-3, that would be, so much easier for Carlton. On the other hand, you've still got the Giants in there, and they've got 3 easy games and then Adelaide. So it looks like they're going to go 3-1 and end up with 44. They're looking at their percentage. I mean, it's like 6 points. I don't know. With those opponents you're looking at, can you make up 6 points? I almost feel like with who Greater Western's playing, that gap is going to expand rather than contract for Carlton.
Yeah, and again, we're assuming GWS wins 3 straight.
Yeah,
maybe Gold Coast does rise up. Maybe West Coast finally.
Maybe they catch it. Maybe Port catches them this week.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by that.
Yeah,
Port's, you talk about teams at the bottom of the ladder. Port certainly deserves to be there, but Port's no slouch. They've lost a lot of close games. They pulled off a few wins here and there.
Yeah,
and you just don't know what you're getting with GWS losing to Essendon just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and then there's the Roos. Everybody knows my favorite team. And I did not do this to throw shade on them, but their remaining schedule, especially of the 5 teams represented here, is absolute murder. I mean, look at this. They're going to play a Hawthorn team that is just as hot as anybody in the league. The Doggies are next. The Doggies are next. Gritty gumption in that team. You know how much I like that. Yep. Geelong, I think maybe they've righted the ship. And they're probably going to be a wild card team, but they're going to be a dangerous wild card team. and then Sydney to end. I mean, those 4 games. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, you can argue with me. You can try and convince me. I don't see a W
I don't
for the rest
either.
of the season for those guys.
Yeah, we talked, probably 4 weeks ago when we started kind of zeroing in on the last schedule, the later schedule of the year, that we didn't know how Hawthorn, we saw them, we predicted this fall for them. They've lost 4 in a row already. If this goes according to your plan, they lose 8 in a row to end the season.
Yeah.
I don't know if we saw that much of a nosedive, but we saw a very tough schedule for them down the stretch. So it's not surprising that they are almost eliminated right now. But it's going to be hard for them to break through and get a win in this stretch, because look at they're playing all playoff bound teams right now.
Yeah, just a murderous schedule. So, the race for 10th is really the chase. Everybody is chasing St. Kilda, and can the Saints, despite everything that has happened this year, despite all, they still kind of are. I mean, when the prognosticators looked at this team at the beginning of the season, if you recall, despite all the money they spent this year to improve this squad, prognosticators thought, you know what? You are still a middling squad. You'll be lucky if you make the top 8, let alone the wild card round. And here they are at number 10, 36 points, 9 wins, fighting off a group for that last wild card spot. I think it's kind of interesting that those predictions are really kind of finding its form now.
Yeah, they really are. It's, and again, I know there's people, I listen to the AFL.com.au shows, and a lot of them aren't happy with the whole wild card format, but we love it. And
oh my goodness,
to have a race for this for number 10, I think is a lot more interesting than trying to, basically you have 9 teams competing for 8 spots under the old format. I like this. I think it adds some excitement into it.
I got it
for this.
Yeah, I mean, where I stand on this. I mean, don't they know it's not going to change? Whether they like it or not, it doesn't matter how much they complain about this. There are going to be 10 teams that qualify for the final. And I know there's argument out there whether the wild card round should be included in the final. I think it should, because the winners are going to advance. They're going to advance into the final. I think this is totally finals football.
Because how do you categorize it? I mean, it has to be unless you have a separate category for wild card.
To me, and I don't think anybody wants to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, by doing that, you ostracize 2 teams that in your world would have made the final pack anyway.
Exactly.
So why would you do that?
Yeah.
Why would you do that to them?
Yeah.
When all it is really is just a vanity exercise, right?
Yeah. And you can, and you have annotations of when, like I'm sure when they went from 7 teams to 8 in the ladder, when they expanded, I'm sure they have an annotation for that. When they went from 8 to 10, you do the same thing. You still count them, but you have in the record books that when you go to this, that it's your next shot.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So 8 teams, 10 teams. And we've said this before on the show. Our leagues here have experience with these kind of wild card rounds, right? And rarely is it blowout city. We've said this before. The wild card round in the NFL is some of the best football of the season.
Yeah, because it is all a couple years ago, and it's taken off, and it's been hugely successful.
Yeah, it's all about desperation. It's all about desperation when you're playing that wild card round. And here and there, you get the underdogs that go into a stadium against a heavy favorite and pull it off. And that's what you love sports for, not just footy. That's what you love sports for. So these people need to get over their vapors, I think, and just accept the fact that they're going to have 2 more teams. If they're below 500, so be it. They're not going to be 4 games below 500, right?
Yeah.
Maybe 1, maybe 2, although I don't even think it's going to be 1 or 2, right?
Yeah, I mean, right now, Carlton's 1 under. So's St. Kilda. So if they each go 2 and 2,
well, I mean,
still 1 under, but they could be 1 over too.
That projection says that Kilda finishes 11 and 12.
Yeah.
Are we really going to have a coronary over this?
No.
Are we really going to say, oh, they definitely don't belong? Oh, give it a rest. Give it a rest. There's
Then you
going to be
knock off the number 7 seed, and then you show them.
Well, okay. Now you're talking, right?
Yeah.
Now you're talking.
Yeah.
So you throw shade on that number 10 team because they're 11 and 12, and then they knock somebody off. Then what do you say? Oh, they just got lucky, didn't they? They were just lucky. Get out of here with this. Anyway.
Now we come to your favorite part of the show.
Here we go. I don't know. Is this my favorite part?
Well,
My favorite part
think-
because we now have Charles Nelson Riley on
Yes,
the
we've
match to
added
match
him to
graphic.
this. And we have the
Right?
music too.
You got the music again? I realize 95% of any viewership we have that's glorious. Match game, folks. I mean, you got to look it up.
You got to match the match.
You got to watch at least one episode.
And
right?
you got to look up Charles.
You got to look up Charles Nelson Riley, who was on the right there. You got to look these guys up. Okay, first match.
Oh.
First match after the first quarter. Whoa.
And again, I try to play along. I saw who you put in here, but I don't remember which game is which. And
I like that you don't remember.
Yeah,
that makes it more fun.
And that's also.
I almost don't want to send you these during the graphics package, but I feel like I kind of have to. I mean, I got to prepare you at least a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But I'm with you. With all the viewer has no idea. I would hope.
Exactly. But
stop hacking my machines.
The away team obviously getting out to a nice big lead here.
Yeah.
After one.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens in the second.
Oh, it's even more.
That lead again.
Even more. Oh.
Yeah.
Third quarter. Oh, we've doubled them up in goals.
Still kind of more of the same. Not looking good. Yeah. Still a tough.
You know what's bad is when you get to this part of the graph.
Yeah.
And you see numbers like 80 and 40 on the side.
Yeah.
You know that this was a rump beating.
Yeah. 40.
Who was it?
Yeah. Let's see
who do you think it was. Do you remember who it was?
I do not off the top of my head. Sydney GWS. Yeah, that makes sense.
So a couple threads here. Let's start with the victors. Let's start with Sydney, who coach was deathly worried on his disposal that the Swans are his boys. Okay. He, knowing how up and down the Giants have been, and we went through this last week, our enigmas, the Greater Western Sydney Giants, knowing how up and down the Giants have been, coach was worried about this one.
Yes, he was. He
was really concerned that this was going to go sideways in a hurry. And what happened? The Swan said, for once, he said, I don't think so. And so they win the showdown going away. And I'm wondering if they have answered the question we've been asking now for weeks. Have the Swans awakened?
It looks like they did, winning the Sydney Derby as convincingly as they did. Again,
Sydney Derby, that's what it is.
Yeah.
My apologies.
GWS, still shaken by that loss to Essendon, just never came out and really was in it. And nothing for Sydney to worry about. And Sydney needed a win like this to kind of get back on track to show people that they belong in that top four. I mean, they were starting to show cracks there, and we even talked about the possibility of Hawthorn leaping them. But they get back on track, and they played a great match.
To me, this is a borderline shameful display by the Giants.
Yeah.
And I can't really sugarcoat any of this because, like you said, they were coming off that loss to the Bombers, which was inexcusable in its own right. They're playing a rivalry game. They've had great quarters, and I don't see one of them here.
No, I don't either.
And they are in the fight for their lives for a playoff spot.
Yeah. I mean,
so how do you come out and give us a game like this?
Yeah. I mean, they did improve after halftime, 4 goals in the third and
Well,
5
I
in
mean,
the.
did
but
they
you didn't
improve,
play any
or was it
defense.
just? Well, did they improve, or was it just Sydney just kind of leaving their foot just a little bit off the gas?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you're dominating, that's one thing, but you're giving up 5 goals and then 4, so it's not helping the cause if you're giving up that many goals. You got to play on both sides of the field, and GWS certainly didn't do that. Let's check your little factoid out here.
Yeah.
Ah,
I mean, not only did they win this stat, they equaled the best in the past decade.
yeah,
I mean, they were moving with the ball and pretty much ended up running the Giants right off the pitch.
yeah, and that's what they needed to do.
They did. So I don't know. Is the question answered? I don't know. I feel like they've got to do this more. But I mean, this is the kind of Sydney footy we saw the first 6 weeks of the year, right?
Oh, exactly.
This is the kind of Sydney footy. Yeah.
And they had lost the previous 2, so this was a big win for Sydney to get back and hold on to that number 2 spot.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next one. Match number 2. Well,
another one where you got a little bit of a 16-point swing there in the first quarter. So it's
somebody's missing the broadside of the barn.
Yeah,
10 behinds.
10 behinds.
10 behinds. But look at the halftime score. They're in it.
Yeah, they're definitely in it. It's 10 points? Looks like
30. Yeah.
Third quarter, still kind of hanging in there.
You know what? They grabbed the lead. But as we come to the close of the quarter,
yep,
something's happening.
And then we go to the fourth.
Something's happening.
Ouch.
And they only score 8 in the final quarter. A goal 2. The team on the bottom ends up running away with it.
Yeah.
Who is this?
I'm going to venture a guess this might be Collingwood. Let's look.
Well, let's see.
No, I was mistaken. St. Kilda and
there
North.
it is. So this is the St. Kilda game. This is the game North needed. No more than St. Kilda needed. Let's be clear about that. I mean, this is what this is what you called, Joe. This is what Coach Hess called an elimination game. And I'm pretty sure it put the final nail in the Roos coffin, right?
Yeah, the Roos are done. They're done. They just, I don't see any way they come back from this.
I mean, I've got them losing the rest of the way.
Yeah.
And I don't, like I said, you can argue with me about that, but I mean, the schedule they're going to play the next 4 weeks. Oh.
It's brutal. And they're, and again, had the game only been through 3 quarters, I might have actually hit my bet because they kept it close for that long, but then in the fourth they just got blown out, and as St. Kilda pulled away. And again, a huge game for Nasiah Wanganeen-Malera. Just as we'll come to a little bit later, we'll give him his flowers after I knocked him a little bit last week.
Joe, you got the whole name.
I did. I have been waiting all year to finally get that right. I've been instead of just calling him Nasiah the Messiah, I got the name. I knew it would take a while, but I finally got it. I'm so proud of myself too. Thank you.
The note you sent me over the weekend about a certain graphics package.
Yeah.
I noticed only said Nasiah.
Yeah.
You did not go the whole way.
Not as easy to type out on a phone.
No, that's true. I'll give that to you. So here's our little fun fact about this game. The aforementioned Nasiah Wanganeen-Malera. I kind of liken knowing how to say that with learning how to spell Roethlisberger when the Steelers drafted him. Because I know it took more than like a couple days. But after, you type Roethlisberger over and over and over again, you get it. But even then, even at the end, when I typed out Roethlisberger, I was always singing it in my head. R-O-E.
Yeah. At least it's not Krzyzewski. That one's still a butcher.
Yeah. Yeah, and I learned to spell that too, and you know what? I don't know if I could do that one now. Roethlisberger I could do.
Always Coach K.
Right.
Can't go wrong.
Just as this is Messiah the Messiah.
Exactly. And it was a year ago that he really became the Messiah with that tremendous performance.
With that incredible final, minute?
Yeah.
Against my poor D's.
Yeah.
But there you see the stat, third player. Not third player this year, not third player in team history, third player ever.
Yeah.
46 disposals and 4 goals.
And he just took over that game in the second half. It was something to see.
Pretty sure he gained over a kilometer, right?
Yeah, I believe
his meters gained was over 1,000, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a monster game, and maybe if you stick with us, another semi mea culpa in the offing.
Definitely.
Like I said, we're good at this, right? We put teams in a commode and they win the next week.
Right.
Shooting blanks.
No commodes this week, thankfully.
No commodes. No commodes. I did throw an emoji in there though. Did you see?
I did see that.
Updated? Okay.
As we go to our third match here, and we got the home team winning or jumping out to that early lead.
Yeah, looks good.
Hanging on there at halftime. Still.
Well, I mean, they had a decent lead.
Points, yeah.
They had a decent lead, and they were letting it slip away.
Yep. Up and then here in the second,
and they're still letting it slip away.
Yeah. And then in the fourth,
and it all falls apart for the home team.
This would be the Collingwood.
Yeah.
That is Collingwood.
These are the Magpies. These are the July 2026 Magpies, not the May 2026 Magpies, who could not figure out if they wanted to play Scott Pendlebury and how to manage his record, because it was as if that was more important than the season at their feet. And we both said, I remember saying, points are going to be hard to come by in July and August. And this was one of those games I was pointing at.
And they certainly rose up to the occasion.
Oh.
And even Scott Pendlebury, the ageless one, he contributed to this. It wasn't just Nick Dacos. They had contributions all around. I mean, again, Nick Dacos clearly, the top player and led this team. But I watched a lot of that second half on Thursday morning, and it was Collingwood just awakened and just took over that game, and it was impressive.
So you will relate to the fun fact in the next frame.
Let's see.
Which makes a lot of sense and correlates very nicely with what you see in this graph.
Yeah.
16 forward half turnovers in the second half. 32 points. 5 goals, 2 behinds. 32 points.
That's amazing.
From those opportunities. That's how you win some games.
And that's especially against top flight competition like that. That's what you got to do. You got to be pesky in the middle, and you got to get the ball back. And once you get down to that side, you can't get behind. You got to put it between the middle too.
They didn't just beat a top 6 team on the road. I mean, they bumped them into submission in that fourth term.
Yeah.
6 goals, 4 in that final quarter alone. Yeah. That's 40 points. 40 points to what? 14? Outscored them 40 to 14
in the fourth. Yeah.
To win going away. Oh. I mean, almost every team in this ladder has had a season of like spurts. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Very few. I mean, Frio is an exemption. Right? They've been the freight train almost the whole way through. They had that hiccup against Greater Western. But, ever since, week 7, I think, they've been top of the ladder and, no real challenge to them, But a lot of these other teams, including Collingwood, including Adelaide, I mean, like I said, you can name anybody in the top 10. You can name half that bottom 8.
Yeah, about
they've had 2 or 3 seasons in one season.
Yeah, with the exception of probably Richmond and Essendon, and West Coast had a nice little spurt at the beginning. But, everybody else has found ways to win games they probably shouldn't have and have been competitive and, but then they've
have
also
found ways to lose games they shouldn't have.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And, that's what, that's why it's going to make it for an interesting finals, no matter, which 10 teams make it. I think, you've got a lot of teams that could be in that Final Four. And I mean, I think you're going to expect maybe Freo and Sydney to be there, but you could see Hawthorn, you could see Adelaide, Geelong, Melbourne. There's a lot of teams that can definitely fit that bill.
Yeah, I still think now my D's fell this past weekend. I still don't see them as a top 6 team. I think they're going to be. I think the Bulldogs, Western Bulldogs, are going to pass them up and not have to play that first weekend. But even the D's, to some effect, have had kind of one of those like sectional seasons.
Yeah.
But for us D's fans, we've been lucky that these sections have been constant improvement with step backs here and there. So
I was going to say, is Melbourne even lost 2 in a row this year?
No,
every time they lose a game, they bounce back. And
I think they have lost 2 in a row, but it's only been once.
Yeah.
They finally lost their first game at MCG.
Yeah.
That was the stone that they were wearing. That I think they were 9-0 at MCG before falling over the weekend. So, like I said, a lot of these teams, sectional seasons, it's the teams that are gearing up now, right?
Yeah.
Since we're a month away from, and I don't want to say it's an Americanized postseason. We don't want to say that too loud. I saw a couple tweets because I guess the league had the temerity of using the term postseason.
Uh-oh.
And they got jumped on a little bit.
Well,
you're Americanizing our terminology. Basically what Coach had warned us against.
Exactly.
And
it doesn't seem like it's
kind of off mic last week of the show.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like it's the finals either. It's just finals.
Just finals.
You're going to make finals. So
I need to work on this.
Well,
obviously.
To me, when I just think of finals and not the finals, when I think of finals, I'm thinking of college. I'm thinking of exams. So it's going to be hard for me to break the finals.
That's not really good. I don't assume that is a really good thought. College finals. Never was for me.
No, it wasn't for me either. It was
it
wasn't an enjoyable time. It was a sweaty time, if I recall.
Well, I was going to say college finals for me was, an opportunity to see how far my pants were down to my legs.
Moving on, should we go to the next slide?
Let's do it.
Oh, our famous.
Let's do it. Let's do Stock Watch, where, like I said, there may, I don't know, there may be, I don't know if mea culpa is the word for it, but
it occurred to me as we're doing this that, we have the little match game theme and the Gene Rayburn. We need to have like Gordon Gecko or something in the Stock Watch.
Oh,
or
Greed is good.
Or something.
Greed is good. Greed works.
Team or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We need to get something to jazz it up with a little.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. Gordon. You know what? I think we can make that happen. I think we can do Gordon Gecko. Let's do the first down.
Yes.
Here in this week's Stock Watch. Yeah.
I got a lot of thoughts
to me,
on
Joe.
This. What's that? I'm sorry.
Preach to me, Joe.
I'm preaching to you because Leo Lombard, I've seen a lot of people that if they were compiling the Stock Watch would put Christian Petrarca in there instead of Leo Lombard for having the temerity to chastise a young player on the field during the game, where I find this logic to be totally backward. And a guy who pretty much exonerated Leo Lombard and took Christian Petrarca to task was none other than Michael Voss on one of the AFL videos. And I was like, wow, to me, that's the definition of leadership when an older player, a veteran established, tries to show the other player the right way to do it. Maybe he didn't do it in the most constructive way. We don't know. And I don't think they know. They're basing it on assumptions. But to me, what I see on the vision was Christian Petrarca saying something to Leo Lombard that he was trying to get him, back into the game and trying to tell him something important. where you have Lombard turning around and telling him to blank off. To me, Lombard should get criticism here, not Christian Petracca. In fact, let me go and pull this up because this is a quote from a former Melbourne great, Gary Lyon, I believe is his name. And he stuck up for Petracca, said, I wouldn't be too apologetic. This is a footy club that's not tiptoeing around trying to set a standard. I hope that's not the first time Christian has spoken to Leo about whatever it is. Setups and the frustration may have born from the fact that he's been slow to come around. Wow. I wholeheartedly agree, and I don't understand why Petracca is getting the blowback that he has been doing. I think it all should go to this guy.
Yeah, yeah. Now, both players have said that they worked it out in the locker room after the game. It's water under the bridge. There's no story here. There's nothing to talk about. But I think it goes back to a point that Coach made on his show last week about the lack of leadership on this team. And here's Christian Petracca trying to, he's got his finger in the dam, I think, on this one. He actually finds a moment to show some leadership, and he gets it thrown back into his face.
Yeah, he does.
Then he gets blamed for it.
Yeah, and that's, if that's going to be epidemic of your team, then no wonder they've lost 9 in a row.
Yeah,
and are heading for potential of losing 13 in a row. Everybody expected much better. And you're throwing Petracca in here. I don't know I always thought he had a good reputation when he was with Melbourne.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised by the blowback he's getting on this, because in my opinion, you need someone to step up like that and try to get the younger player under control and show him the right way to do it. Maybe he didn't use the best terms, but in the heat of the moment, I think you have to defer to the 30-year-old veteran, not the 19-year-old second-year player.
Yeah. I would imagine it's easier for the 30-year-old veteran to get his point across if he hasn't been so woefully deficient in the last 6 weeks for this team. And again, Coach made this point, that there's no leadership. There's no beacon. There's no beacon on this team to go to. They're just how did he put it? They got rid of the workers. Yeah. They got rid of the workers on this team. They brought in a bunch of high-priced stars, got rid of the workers, and now you got no beacon to go to. And here Petracca's trying it out, and then he gets it pushed back into his face. Joe, they've lost 9 in a row, right? Their losing streak is so long. Sydney was in first place the last time they won a game. That's how long this streak is. And, if you saw our projections earlier, it could very well go to 13. I mean, they could end this season on a 13-game losing streak, which is it was so much of a departure from what they were hoping for at the beginning of the season. When they started this losing streak, they were 4th on the ladder.
And they were
4th.
At one point after 3 weeks of the year, I think they had led the ladder for the first time in franchise history at any point of a season. And if you saw, I don't know if you saw the pictures from the post game in the locker room, but the players sitting there looking shell-shocked, like their star players are just sitting there like, why is this all going wrong? And
what is happening here?
Yeah, exactly. And you kind of feel for them, for the guys that, were part of this resurgence last year, but it's crazy to see happen.
Boy, it's turned into a mess. It's turned into an absolute mess at Gold Coast. Okay, let's go to the next one.
Man, Greater Western Sydney.
You had to expect this, right?
I guess.
You had to expect this, right?
Yeah, and just for the fact that they've lost 7 of the last 8 Sydney derbies, and this was a chance for them to get back into the thick of it in the playoffs or into the finals for the home stretch to race for number 10. Yep. And they lost another one, and they're just
to show that last week's loss to the Bombers was an absolute fluke.
Yeah.
Nope.
And they didn't show much. They didn't show up again, and they kept it close for a little bit, not even really.
No.
No,
they got run off the pitch. I mean, this thing was over at halftime.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This was over at halftime. And good news for the Blues.
Yeah.
I mean, the Blues, the only thing the Blues did not have happen for them was, North Melbourne finding a way
Yeah.
to take St. Kilda down.
Yeah.
That would have been super helpful for the Baggers, to be sure. But they did have some good news this week. Okay, let's go to the next one. And I know you're all over this one.
Oh, I know. This is I like the emoji with the because the original version I don't think had the word fans in it. So
it didn't have fans, and I kind of realized that after I read your thing. And yeah.
But again,
I'm hope I'm doing this justice now with this representation.
I believe you've done correct justice here.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Again, it's the first matchup with Collingwood since last year when Isaac Rankin called a Collingwood player a slur that resulted in the ban that kept Rankin out of the finals, and then they lost the first two and were done. So they go back, they play this game at Adelaide, and what happens? The Adelaide fans boo the Collingwood player, and the Adelaide coach come on and said, "Hey, that's not who we are. That's not what we should be about. Do better."
To his credit.
Yeah, to his credit, and I agree. This player did nothing wrong. He shows up for the other team, and I know you want to support your player. Applaud your player if you want, but don't take it out on the guy who did nothing but just he's the victim of a slur, and he is the victim, and don't try to turn your guy into the victim when he said that. And I'm sure both players want to move on from that, but it just was a tasteless display from the fans.
That's and you know what? You make a really good point. I'm sure both players had moved on from all this, only for the Adelaide fans to bring it back into focus, which is the last thing anybody wants. Nobody wants that kind of distraction, especially with an Adelaide team. They got their faces kicked in the fourth quarter of that game. Exactly. They don't need any distractions right now. Yeah. They need to focus on trying to get the best footy they can play going into the finals.
Yeah, and there's a chance these two teams can meet again down the road. Yeah. So, that's going to give more ammunition for Collingwood, I would think.
Yeah. That's a shame. All right.
Let's go to some better moments here.
Yes. Let's go to some better moments. And you know what? Joe, if I recall correctly, it was only just a week ago that this gentleman is only the third player ever to record 46 disposals and have 4 goals. He was on the other side of this stopwatch.
He made.
Do I remember that right?
Yes, you did. And it's going from talking about the crows to me eating crow.
I don't know. Well, I don't know if it's that bad.
But in fact, heading into Sunday, I had already had a preliminary 3 up, 3 down list to send you, and he wasn't on it. Then the Sunday game happens, and I'm like, well, I got to make room for this guy.
I think so. Can I ask, or should we wait till the end? Can I ask who got bumped?
I will tell you who did. Well, we can do it at the end. I'll tell you.
Okay, we'll do it at the end. That's cool.
But
that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you say about Nasai? This second half of the season, he has earned every penny of what was he making $2 million this year? Earned every single penny of it just the second half of the year alone. I mean, he's the reason why the Saints are in 10th right now.
He is, and I dogged him a little bit last week when they had the loss, and he was kind of held in check.
Yeah, he was average.
Yeah, but nobody was able to tag him in this, and everything they tried, he just took over again and showed why he, I don't know where we'll see it later on where he sits in the voting for points, but he should be, wherever he is, he should be higher. He's been that impressive.
I feel like we are establishing a stopwatch spell when you appear in the red. I'm thinking about the Bombers. I'm thinking about Nasaya. I'm thinking there have been a couple other examples of individuals or teams that have appeared in the red one week, and then maybe 1 week or 2 weeks later, they're back in the green. I don't know. I'm just saying, it might be us. Might be us.
Or number 2, Shannon Neal, Geelong. Thinking about Geelong, he come up. Jeremy Cameron's out. Probably until finals, could be for the year. They've had other injuries. You're wondering if his team that how they were teetering along there. They had they'd won the previous week, but they had lost 2 before that. You're wondering how they're going to kind of keep it together. And this guy comes along, has a career high 5 goals. And hearing a lot of the commentators talk about him, he's kind of become a glue guy for them, and they think he's the kind of guy you can build around and add to that mix to be a star for that team. I just thought he deserved to be acknowledged for this one.
I mean, like you said, they've had their fair share of injuries the past couple of weeks. I mean, maybe not the entire reason they're sitting there at 9 right now on the ladder. But I mean, the point has to be made. When you don't have your best players, some other people have got to step up. And Mike Tomlin's famous phrase, right? Next man up.
Yep.
Next man up, and you've got Shannon Neal, kicks 5 goals. I think he's more than the glue. I mean, I think he's part of that new engine that needs to power the Cats into the finals.
Yeah, and he's been, he's definitely getting hot at the right time for them. And they needed something, like I said, career high for him. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the last one.
And the last one, I guess it has to be a partisan pick on my part.
And that's fine. That's fine. It's your show. You can play favorites.
Well, true. And again, these aren't necessarily indicative of like Taylor Byrne is certainly not any better than Nasai. It's just, it's just kind of the order we did them. I don't think this is, it's not like we're giving a star system out here.
Sure.
But young Taylor Byrne named the rising star of the week this week for good reason.
Yeah.
If you remember earlier in the year when they played Collingwood, when Michael Voss was still the coach, they had a chance to tie.
Oh, my goodness. That was him.
Yeah. He's the one who
hooked
it to the left.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead. Explain it.
He hooked it to the left. They only got 1 point. They needed 6. It was after the buzzer. They lose. They could use those 2 points right now.
Oh, my God.
That could have buried the kid. But instead, he's regrouped. He's really playing good football in the second half of the year. Comes in here, was involved in it was 12 score involvements, I think, which was, I think, only 2 players had more throughout the whole thing. Pretty much a first-year guy, just really doing good things for them. And, I guess you call it the small forward, just a little guy who just kind of gets the dirty goals. And he's found his accuracy. And he just, he had 3 goals, couple behinds, and just, like I said, was involved in all these scoring involvements for Carlton, is able to come back and get the win last week.
Oh, you talk about points that have been left out there by the Blues this year.
Yeah.
I'd kind of forgotten about that one.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a huge moment at the time, right? Because, I mean, Voss was teetering, right? At that point in the season.
Yeah.
He was teetering a little bit.
That was week 4, and I think that was right on the heels of them losing having that monumental collapse against Melbourne.
Okay, so he wasn't exactly teetering.
Yeah, but he was.
That was like the beginning of the end, though, right? Yeah.
And I remember talking at the time how I was impressed the way the senior leadership, like Patrick Cripps, came and put their arms around this kid and kind of reassured him. Yeah. And he could have gone to one of 2 ways, and he's bounced back. And he's really become a force for this team in the second half of the year, and kind of epitomizes the type of player that Josh Frazier wants on this team.
So, who did you have to bump on Stock Watch this week?
Well, I had Jai Amiss from Prio, who had 4 goals, and which I thought was funny is the guy's last name is Amiss, but he's right up there in the scoring leaders. He does anything but miss.
Right.
Maybe he should change his last name to a goal instead of a miss.
Hey-o.
But no, I had bumped him, and I was also considering Jack Gunston of Hawthorne, who had a
that would have been a good one.
He had a huge win, and I wanted to put him in there too, but I didn't want to take Taylor Byrne. I didn't want to take Shannon Neal off for what he did. So I had to bump those guys out to get Nasai in. And
Jack Gunston 7 goals, I believe.
Yeah, I believe it was 7. Yeah,
including number 600.
Yes, number 600
for his career.
Yeah,
which is probably the bigger deal, I'm sure. Although I think number 7 was 600, right? I think that's how that worked out.
Was, and in fact, he's had. I mean, going back to he's had a run since the middle of last year too, where he's he might have gotten 500 last year, which shows you how he's piling up these goals.
Yeah,
the way he's putting the ball in there, and he's climbing the ladder again in terms of the Coleman race.
Now, you can make the argument not to take any luster off of Gunston's performance, but they were playing the Bombers.
Well,
they did win by 93 points.
Yeah. You and I
but
could
still,
have 2 goals
600 career goals.
Yeah.
I mean, Nick Watson Yeah, Nick Watson gets a lot of the headlines.
Yeah.
And rightfully so for the Hawks.
Yep.
But if this guy can find some accuracy, I mean, just another weapon for the Hawks.
Yeah. And again, the Hawthorns, a team that I thought could steal away the number 2 spot.
Yeah.
Well, there's a chance maybe to potentially do it. But,
Maybe.
Yeah. But
I think the percentages are a little against them right now. But, I mean, again, have we answered the Sydney question? I still don't know.
Yeah.
I still don't know if we have answered the Sydney question.
Yeah. Only points back. But, could be there.
So let's go back over the results real quick. There's that Collingwood win over Adelaide, and Geelong taking my D's to task. My D's who were up, 15-20 in the first quarter, and then all of a sudden couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. I remember I'm the working man, so I only get to listen to a little bit of these games, right? But as soon as I heard Bailey Frischmuth from 25 straight away hit the post, I thought, oh my God,
yeah,
long day. And it sure was. And maybe Geelong is, we've been saying this, maybe they've righted the ship. It's crazy that they fell so fast from that top 6 to the middle 4, the wild card 4.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see.
They could be working their way back up.
Yeah, exactly. So the D's go down. Freo, we thought maybe West Coast would be that mosquito in the ear. No.
Nope.
No. Freo had both cans off. All over themselves. They weren't going to let West Coast get any closer than they had to. Carlton's big win over a Gold Coast team that, I mean, you just shake your head at this point.
And
right?
again, you wonder why Carlton's percentage is so low. Again, the closest game of the week, only winning by 13.
Yeah, is that right? Closest game. Wow. Yeah. I mean, yes, the 4 points is important, but the Baggers have had chances this year to improve on their percentage.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Again, you just oh my God, you just wonder about that 1-7 start. Now you're never going to be able to, when I say rectify those feelings of what could have been.
Yeah.
If they don't make the 10.
Yeah.
There's Hawthorn's big win, of course. Sydney, no problem with Greater Western. Western Bulldogs, no problem with Richmond as they continue to hold on strong to that 7th spot.
Yep.
Now tied in points with the D's, only back with percentage points at this point. So, like I said, I don't know. Hanging on to that 6th spot for the D's, that's going to be tough. Yeah, Brisbane, big win over Port. And then, of course, the St. Kilda win over North Melbourne. Melbourne. Yeah. Why did I catch myself every time on that one? Round 21 fixture. Round 21.
Jeez.
Can you believe it?
Here we are.
Showtime. We're on episode 21 of our little show.
Yeah.
Crazy. Thursday night game. I'll tell you what. This just makes me laugh because, again, I don't know how the AFL did this, but I'm pretty sure when they came out with the rest of the schedule, yes, it's 2 Vic teams-ish, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now Collingwood, Geelong, I mean, they're right there in the middle of the wild card battle. Another game that means so much.
It does, and I guess they're going to have they're going to go back old school and not come out of the locker room until the beginning of the game. Yeah, so I'm hoping I can get my butt up early on Thursday morning to catch some of this because it's one I wouldn't want to miss.
Now, some of these lines changed in the past 24 hours, Joe. I don't know if you noticed that.
I have not had a chance to look yet.
Yeah, from the other, I will send Joe drafts of the graphics package.
Mm-hmm.
Basically an opportunity for him to say, this is ridiculous, dude. You can't do this, But I put in the opening lines, and then I update them right before the show, okay? This was Collingwood dog 1.5. It's now moved to 2.5.
Okay.
In the last 24 hours. at the MCG, no less. And I'm sorry, the way they're playing, I mean, I think this is Magpies all the way.
I think so too. I would definitely put my dollar on the Magpies for this one.
Yeah. That's a Thursday night game. Friday, 3 games, including a couple overlappers. Frio. Okay, this line surprised me a little bit.
It surprised me too. Not much respect for Western.
And I don't think this one changed
Western
very much
Bulldogs
in the past 24 hours. Yeah, 32.5-point favorites.
Jeez.
Against the Doggies. On the road, I get that.
Yeah.
We're at Optus. We're not at Marvel or MCG.
Mm-hmm.
But 32.5, boy, I'm going to have a hard time, given my affinity for Western Bulldogs, I'm going to have a hard time putting that dollar anywhere near Frio.
That would be hard. That would be hard to do. I think that it should be close. And I like the way Western Bulldogs have been playing. And
it's hard. It's hard not to like, right? I mean, it's hard not to like the way they've been handling their business.
Yeah.
Like I said, they're just as deserving of a top 6 spot. Hey, again, here's another one of those teams where you can take their season and like crop it into sections, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like a lot of these teams on the ladder this year. Crazy. Up and down, back and forth, upside down, backwards, whatever. You've almost had it for all of these teams. Also on Friday, Sydney on the road. 13.5-point favorite against St. Kilda. If you were watching the projections earlier, we have St. Kilda losing this match. And again, the question remains open about Sydney. I think they're back.
I think they're back as well. I mean, they got to go.
And I would have to give the 13.5 in the Swans.
I would think so as well. And the thing that strikes me about this, it's 11:05 on Friday night. I'll be able to watch it.
That's phenomenal news.
And with so much at stake for Carlton, I will be watching that one.
Also, Friday night here in the East, another money game for the Hawthorn Hawks. They'll get their million and change at the University of Tasmania against the Roos. 35.5. I'm going to have to think a lot about how much pride the Roos have right now.
Yeah, and it seems to me when Hawthorn goes and plays these games at Tasmania that they don't necessarily always cover.
Yeah.
Fact, I think the last one they might have lost. I'm not sure if they play that well traveling over there. So I would think I'd maybe take the points. That
would be a good stat to have.
Yeah.
And because of that, it is, I mean, 35.5. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if that helps me go 7-2 again this week. 3 games on Saturday, starting with Port and Greater Western and the Giants, who now desperately need all the points they can muster.
Yeah, they lose this game, and I think they're done.
What? Oh, okay. So this is an elimination game for the Giants.
I think so.
2.5-point favorites.
Yeah, I mean, they should be favored against Port, but
yeah,
you just never know what you're going to get from them.
Yeah,
you do have to travel though.
Yeah. So where's the money?
I don't know. That's one I might not touch actually.
Oh, you might stay away from that one.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, I don't have that luxury.
I know. You go for that big money.
2.5. I mean, we're gonna have to see the teams that are announced, right?
Yeah.
Before this game, because it very well may be $1 on Port. Depending on what's going on with Giants. Okay, the Blues against Brisbane, and the only reason we really haven't talked about Brisbane this week is probably because we've been talking about them the last 3 weeks. Nothing's changed for the Lions, right?
No, they're still the
they look like someone who wants to be a 3-time premier.
Yeah.
What's the line?
And they want to be someone that's in the top 4, so you got to do that. I think Carlton keeps it close. I think Carlton has a chance to be within that 25.5. I think.
But of the 2 games that they need an upset in. This is the one, right?
I would think so. I mean, you don't want to hope.
I mean,
on
let's
Frio.
let's just say Frio is at full strength. I guess what you're asking yourself now is how much difference is there between Frio and Brisbane? Because I would think right now, a match between those two sides would be a hell of a match.
Oh, it would be. Yep. And you might get that in the first weekend too, if this the way this goes.
Yeah.
Or the second weekend, I guess.
Oh yeah. You're right. It would be the second weekend now. Yeah. Yes. Hey, we got a wild card round. Did you know that? Did you know there are people that don't like it? It's the end of July, and there are still people who don't like it. 25.5 points. I'll have to think about that one. Here's an interesting one, okay? And this is our victory song of the week chance to clear the board, right?
I'm pulling for the Eagles so hard.
Richmond and West Coast at MCG. Now, yesterday, the Tigers were a 1.5 favorites.
Oh, now they're a 1.5.
This afternoon they're a 1.5 dogs. And I'm with you, just to wipe the board clean at the top of the show. The money's got to be with the Eagles, right?
I would think so. I would think so. I mean, the West Coast does have to travel, but to me, yeah, this is a chance to get a win. I don't know what their losing streak is. It's long. It's a chance to get back and save some face heading into the offseason.
Yeah, I mean it's a losing streak, but I mean it's like one of those losing streaks. I mean it's not like a Richmond losing streak. It's not like an Essendon losing streak before Greater Western Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean this West Coast team, like I said, I can't think of any better example as the mosquito in the ear. You know, I mean they've been pesky for a half, and if they're pesky for a half against Richmond, they're gonna lose, right? I mean. They should take this team and just throw them back on the bus. I think.
Yes.
I think. I mean, you know, with respect to Richmond and everything they've been through, I think you guys have got the spoon. Here's your chance to give it up, though. Here's your best chance to give up the spoon and give it back to Essendon. 2 games on Sunday, including my D's against Gold Coast, and I'm kind of like Coach on this one. Because is it possible Gold Coast loses 10 in a row? Is it possible? Is it possible they break their losing streak this weekend? Please, no.
The only thing I can see. Petrarca going against Melbourne again. He missed the first game because he was hurt.
Did. Yeah. Playing at home.
Yeah, they're at home. That'd be one that I don't know if I would touch, honestly, but it's going to be a very interesting game to see how this plays out. And Melbourne, again, if they want to stay in the top 6, they've got to win this game.
Yeah, they got to keep piling points.
Yeah.
They got the dog. He's breathing right down their neck.
Yep.
I think 4.5. I think my money's still on the D's. I think I got to have faith in the D's, and I mean it's hard to have any faith at all in Gold Coast.
Yeah,
really.
I would think that's where you want to put your money. And
Bombers.
Yeah, just looking at the ladder, and you don't want to fall. Collingwood to where they're playing. You don't want to fall behind them either.
No.
So.
Bombers Adelaide to end the weekend. I can't think of a better way for the Crows to get right.
Yes.
And bounce back after, being beaten up pretty good at home by Collingwood.
And I might give the 45.5 too.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, Hawthorn, 93 points.
Yeah.
Goodness. So that's the round 21 fixture. Let's go to the ladder. Again, not much change as far as standing goes. There's that important one denoted by the arrows there concerning Carlton and Greater Western Sydney. Saw a lot of improvements on the percentages by the top 6, which tells me they're not taking their foot off the gas, and neither should they.
Yep.
Because we still have less than 4 points between Hawthorn and Brisbane. Right?
Yep. And you have what I'm looking at here is Collingwood 2 points behind Western, Melbourne, and Adelaide. And
Yeah.
they're only 2%, 0.2 behind Melbourne. So I could see them leaping up into that 6th spot.
Boy, wouldn't that be crazy?
Yeah.
If they just kind of jumped everybody, if we had a weekend of
Yeah.
right? Like one of those shake-up weekends you see in college football.
Yeah.
Where you see like 7 of the top 10 teams lose inexplicably.
Yeah. I mean, Freo takes care of business against Western. Melbourne stumbles and Collingwood beats Geelong. You've got Collingwood now in the top 6.
Yeah, you got Collingwood waiting in the wings. Yeah. And again, maybe that becomes, I mean, I think you can break this season up into stories, but I think Collingwood becomes the talker now.
Yeah.
If they're bold enough to get themselves into the top 6 before the regular season ends, before the home and away fixture ends.
Yes.
If they've got that much guts, maybe Nick's right. Maybe they can go all the way.
Yeah.
That would be crazy. Speaking of the Brownlow contender,
let's go to the next.
He was one of what was it, 6 perfect 10s this week?
Yeah, I saw that.
Nasai was a perfect 10.
As he should have been.
Yeah.
A little surprising that he's down there, that he's not higher on that list, but I don't know how many of those points have come in the second half, but that's
that's a good question. I mean, I'm sure he wasn't scoring as much as you would have thought in the first, the first half of the season. But I mean, the second half, he's, absolutely caught fire.
Another player on this list that I totally didn't even think about with Geelong, Bailey Smith. As I was talking about Shannon Neal doing so well, I mean, Bailey Smith has been right there, kind of leading this team as well from as far as disposals and things like that. And we don't really like him, but hey, you got to give him his due.
Say, I'm not gonna lie to you. It crossed my mind to maybe cut that list off at 65. But yeah, let's give him some flowers. I mean, and as Geelong goes, Bailey Smith kind of carries them. So yeah, when he's successful, they're going to be successful. You see that note there on the left side? Dacos is 125 now, the most in a season, and he has 4 weeks to go.
Jeez.
I mean, that's how well regarded he has been by the coaches in the league this season. He's already broken the record by 3, and there's 4 weeks to go.
That's amazing.
Again, hard to argue that he's not the Brownlow, barring injury.
He has to be. And then look over, and you talk about that, way Bontempelli's going, he's quietly at number 2. He could get over 125 by the end of the year.
Yeah, he could.
And still not win it.
And this is not a slouch, or this is not like shade to Bontempelli. I mean, he's been wonderful this year too.
Yeah.
I don't think the doggies are where they are without him.
No,
I think that's pretty obvious, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, when you have somebody that's been playing at the level that Dacos has been playing, I mean, what do you say? 6 players this week, Joe, in the goal list. Our buddy Charlie still leads. But you see Jack Gunston in there with his 7 goals.
Nick Watson again.
Nick Watson in there.
I think of the way Gold Coast is struggling, it's going to be hard for me to see Ben King, catching up to Charlie there. I think Charlie.
Yeah. I mean, when you don't score,
yeah.
how do you stay in that race?
Exactly.
Now, because I added so many people in the goals, and I had to keep Jack Gunston, given what he did this week, right? I mean, I could not cut it at 48. I just can't do that. No. I can't cut the wizard out of there, right?
No, never.
I can't do that. So now I got 6 guys in goals. So I had to do a little editing on disposals or disposals, depending on how you spell it. But there's Dacos still leading. He's been leading since we did this graphic, I think. Sheasel,
Yep.
Clayton Oliver in there.
You'd take Harry Shizo on your side. I know that.
No, but I'll tell you who was fourth that I did not mind cutting.
And that is?
It was Bailey Smith.
Oh, well, there you go.
I took him out. Buddy, you don't get more than one spot on my graphic. Marks really hasn't changed. Wilkie still leads and leads by a healthy amount. Dacos, score involvements. Really not a challenge.
Yeah.
Luke Jackson, Murphy Reed for Frio. I mean, it's a team that scores. What do you want?
Yeah.
It's a team that scores, Joe. We got a lot of teams, though, that score right now. Will they continue to score when finals start?
That'd be a big question. And as finals start, I guess won't Australia be coming out of the winter? Won't it get a little hotter? Shouldn't that make it for better scoring conditions?
You would think.
Yeah,
you would think. Do you have any final thoughts?
I really don't.
I don't
really have. I don't. We've used up our allotment again. We've gone 120 over 120 again. I thought for sure we were going to keep it under 110. But
we're taping Monday evening here on the East Coast of the United States. Joe, you said Wednesday they're going to announce weeks 23 and 24.
That's what I understand. Yeah, they're going to announce them Wednesday, and I think one of those weeks there's no Thursday game because
there's a women's game, right?
Yeah, women's showcase. I think it might be their kickoff game.
So they don't do a Thursday game that week. Yeah. So one of those last 2 weeks will not have a Thursday game. The women are starting, and we're going to talk a little bit about them when they get going here. They're going to get going here, I think, not this weekend, but the weekend after. I think it's the second weekend in August.
Yeah,
we're going to involve them a little bit. Give them their love as the men hurdle toward the end of the home and away, which isn't a true home and away, by the way. I don't want to nitpick, but I mean, they don't play each other twice home and away. It's just a little bit home and away. Joe, 4 weeks to go.
And some teams play more away than home.
What happens? What happens if your Blues don't make it? You were kind of asked this question on Coach's show.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to see.
Last week.
I stand by what I said too. I want to see him finish strong. I'd like to see him go 3-2 in the last 5. They won. They won that first one there. So if they go 2-2 down the stretch, and if they end up losing to Frio and Brisbane, I mean, I got to live with that. I just want to see.
There's no shame in that.
No, there's no shame in that. And I would love to see them make the finals, but if they don't, and they are competitive down the stretch, play well under Josh Frazier, and I hope he gets the job. I'll be happy with that.
I mean, he deserves it.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
I mean, what else can he do? I mean, he was given a bag of excrement and said, fix it. And by God, he has. He has fixed it.
Yeah, he's turned them around. He's got them playing a more exciting, better, more cohesive brand of football, and they're more exciting to watch. They have more confidence. They're not blowing leads in the second half all the time.
Yeah.
In fact, they're coming back in the second half in some instances,
Yeah, they're coming back stronger in the second half sometimes. I mean, and that's, not even close to what was happening with the old regime.
Yeah.
The question that was posed to me on Donnie's disposal, and again, if you like X's and O's, I'm telling you, this is the VOD to watch.
Yeah.
Donnie's disposals. Check it out on YouTube. The question that was posed to me was, because of Melbourne's magical, you could say, season, do they have to win a finals game to make this a successful season? And my initial answer was that because none of this was expected, they're playing with house money. And I mentioned how a rational, reasonable fan would be okay with wherever they end up whether it be in the top 6 or the wild card, and have a finals game. Because I like to point out there really aren't any rational or reasonable fans out there anywhere. No matter what. So before this past weekend, I noticed that the D's were 5-4, now 5-5. They're 5-5 against the top 10. So it's possible. They can get a victory there. And I think one finals win in a year where they weren't supposed to be anywhere near the top 10, that would be good enough for me.
Yeah, and you make the top 8. That's good. And even if you're in that bottom, you figure you're going to be in the bottom, 5 through 8. If you survive that wild card weekend, you've got another chance to get another win there.
Sure,
you could be in the final 6.
Sure, and they've proven, despite kind of starting strong this past week against Geelong, I mean, they've proven they can hang with most anybody on this ladder. I don't think there's any doubt about that. When their guns are firing straight, when we're missing posts, in a good way, they can hang with anybody. So we'll see what happens. 4 weeks left in the home and away.
Very exciting time of the year.
It totally is. That's our show for today. If you're watching us, it's probably on YouTube at WTF What the Footy. We're on Twitter X at WTF What the Footy, where again, you can check out my picks. Probably not appointment viewing the past 2 weeks, but this last week 7-2. So maybe I've pulled a Geelong. Maybe I've turned it around. You can tail them and weep. My tips. I shouldn't say picks, right? They're my tips. My tips. I was 7-2.
Well, but you're not picking the winners. You're taking the spread, which to me is
that is a difference. That is a difference.
Yeah.
And I think because of my success this past week, I'm now 15 games over.
Good for you.
So technically, you've made a little bit of money had you tailed and wept a couple weeks, laughed a couple weeks, said I don't know what you're doing a couple weeks. Anyway, we're on Twitter X at WTF What the Footy. We're on Facebook at WTF What the Footy. We're on Apple Podcasts and Spotify at WTF What the Footy. And our favorite, the one we shunned for so long, yet brings us our most engagement. We are on Instagram at WTF What the Footy. Our social media manager, Joe Rutter, likes to cut up the show and put it on Instagram and put it on YouTube and put it in other places. So, we want you to watch all 7 hours of this show. But if you don't have that kind of time, you can watch some of our clips. And that's Joe Rutter that takes care of that. And that's on Instagram and YouTube. And we invite you to watch them and comment and give us some love. For Joe Rutter, I'm Robert Gregory. See you next time.
Showtime.
Oh.
Wow.
Is this a record? Is an hour 28 a record?
Yeah, it's a record.
Oh, my God. It's not a good record. Not a good record at all.
Yeah.
Where are we getting hung up?
I don't know. Is it? I thought we kind of went through match to match pretty well.
I did too. I thought we went through the schedules pretty fast.
We always
hang up on Stock Watch because
I think that
sometimes there's disagreement. We got to hash that out.
Yeah, that was
hour 28.
Oh my goodness.
Never change, StreamYard. Never change.
I was gonna say you might have to clear out a few more episodes just to get this one to fit.
Oh my God. I'm surprised I was able to get this one. I hope when I hit end it says, you lost your show.
Well, hopefully you hit end in the next 48 seconds so we don't go past 1:30.
I think I may hit end sooner than that. Say goodnight, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie.